Good evening, you're watching 7 at 7, the only news bulletin where I curate the day's top 7 stories for our viewers. I'm Preeti Choudhary and these are the headlines. Prime Minister Modi in Japan for Quad Summit, Indo-Pacific Economic Framework in focus. Prime Minister addresses Indian diaspora, says India is resetting the world order. Varanasi District Court to pronounce mega Gyanvapi verdict on plea to worship Hindu idols tomorrow. Hearing over after arguments by both competing sides. Big development in Ram Mandir construction, carved stones to be laid down from June 1st. UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath likely to be invited. Shocker from Kerala rally by Islamist PFI. Young kids seen openly giving death threats to Hindus and Christians. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Sarma says time to end Madrasa system for Islamic education. Claims everyone knows what happens in garb of education. With the Karnataka poll slated for next year, Karnataka Congress Chief D.K. Sivakumar makes big statement on CM face. Says he has worked hard for 2 years. Union Minister Piyush Goyal leads the Indian delegation at the World Economic Forum in Davos with the aim to project India as investment hub. Chief ministers and netas from 6 states participate. All right, viewers, the Prime Minister is in Japan for the Quad Summit. 40 hours and 23 meetings. That's how his schedule is packed. Here's more.
"40 hours, 23 meetings, talks with 3 world leaders and a diaspora outreach." Prime Minister Narendra Modi's 2-day whirlwind tour to Tokyo. Marked with his trademark interaction with the Indian diaspora.
फर्क देखा है इंटरनेशनल सीन पे मोदी जी ने भारत का जो नाम बढ़ाया है और काफी अच्छा लग रहा है.
Japan relationship not only it's getting limited, I'm saying it is going beyond limitation. So we are really thrilled.
मैं 5वीं कक्षा में पढ़ता हूँ. जापान में आपका बहुत स्वागत है.
वाह वाह.
May I have your signature? May I have your signature, please?
तो कहाँ से सीख लिया तुमने हिंदी? हैं?
Yes, I learned it.
हैं?
India once again on the world's radar with Prime Minister Modi's visit. From the Quad Summit in Tokyo to bilateral talks on post-COVID recovery, the Ukraine war and climate change. 36 Japanese CEOs and the Indian diaspora are all part of Modi's power-packed itinerary.
You can see that Indian community present and in fact acknowledging and cheering out loudly as Prime Minister Modi here arrives in Tokyo. You can see he's coming down right now to acknowledge his supporters who have come in here from the city of Tokyo and from across Japan.
US President Joe Biden, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida and the newly elected Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese will sit with Prime Minister Modi at the Quad High Table.
There are various elements in the program. The Quad is the core element of the entire visit. So there will be Quad-related events with Quad. There will be bilaterals with other 3 leaders. The US President, the newly elected Australian Prime Minister, and of course the Japanese Prime Minister.
All eyes are on the Modi-Biden interaction, the latest after a series of high-profile engagements between both the giants, coming closer than ever before.
Apart from participating in the Quad Summit, Prime Minister would also hold bilateral meetings with the President of the US, Prime Minister of Japan and with Prime Minister of Australia.
Big interest is also riding on Modi's bilaterals with the Japanese and Australian Prime Ministers. Modi and Kishida will carry forward their conversations from the 14th India-Japan Annual Summit held in March 2022, when the Japanese Prime Minister visited New Delhi. Modi and his Australian counterpart will review comprehensive strategic partnership and exchange views on regional and global developments of mutual interest. With Paulami Saha in Tokyo, Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, viewers, back home, let's shift focus right now to Assam and the Chief Minister of Assam, Himanta Biswa Sarma, who's caused a big controversy of sorts by a statement. Himanta Biswa Sarma says that it's time you abolish the Madrasa system of education because it's come to no good.
पिता माता आपको बच्चा में कोई इंस्टीट्यूशन में दाखिल करा दे और भविष्य में पूरा रास्ता ही बंद हो जाए, ये मेरा हिसाब से वायलेशन ऑफ बेसिक ह्यूमन राइट्स.
Comments by Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma against madrasas has fueled a massive controversy, claiming that the word madrasas should cease to exist. Assam CM said that the Islamic system of education should not be forced on young students. He advocated that students should be only allowed entry to any religious institution at an age where they can make their own decisions.
बच्चा को जो उम्र में मदरसे में दाखिल किया जाता है, वो नहीं जानते हैं कि मुझको कहाँ दाखिल किया गया है. लेकिन कोई समय ऐसा है कि बच्चा बड़ा होके देखता है हम कहाँ पढ़ा, यहाँ से तो मेरा कोई आगे का रास्ता नहीं है. इसीलिए एंट्री टू एनी रिलीजियस इंस्टीट्यूट should be in a age where you can take your own decisions. पिता माता आपको बच्चा में कोई इंस्टीट्यूशन में दाखिल करा दे और भविष्य में पूरा रास्ता ही बंद हो जाए, ये मेरा हिसाब से वायलेशन ऑफ बेसिक ह्यूमन राइट्स.
Himanta added that at one point all Muslims in India were Hindus. The opposition was quick to slam Himanta's controversial statements.
यहाँ अरे जरा बोल कर देखो मुख्यमंत्री जी, मोदी जी के खिलाफ बोल के देखो, अमित शाह के खिलाफ. मुख्यमंत्री पद से ही नहीं तुम्हारी छुट्टी हो जाएगी, जेल के कहीं पीछे खड़े हो गए, इतने छापे पड़ेंगे ईडी के, इनकम टैक्स के, कि तबीयत दुरुस्त हो जाएगी.
Himanta's remarks come in the backdrop of Yogi government accepting a proposal to exclude new madrasas from its grant lists, overturning an Akhilesh Yadav era order and making it mandatory for madrasas to recite national anthem before starting class.
क्वालिटी तो बढ़ा दी थी, लेकिन क्वालिटी नहीं दे पा रहे थे मदरसों में. उसका काम आदरणीय योगी सरकार ने किया है. आज आधुनिक शिक्षा, कंप्यूटरीकरण किया है. माननीय प्रधानमंत्री का संकल्प, एक हाथ में कुरान एक हाथ में कंप्यूटर, उसको आगे बढ़ाने का काम किया है.
तो हमको फोकस करना है एजुकेशन सिस्टम को बेहतर बनाने के लिए, और हम लगातार उसी दिशा में कदम आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं. अभी हम अपने एडेड मदरसों को और अच्छा और बेहतर बनाएंगे, फिर आगे जैसी जरूरत होगी उस बारे में भी विचार करेंगे. फिलहाल हमने अभी ये फैसला लिया है.
Are madrasas the new flashpoint? Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, from the state of Assam, let's shift focus right now to the state of Karnataka and on to Mangaluru. Well, viewers, after the Gyanvapi mosque row, a similar demand has been asked for, has been made in Mangaluru over one mosque and a survey that has been demanded. Here's more.
Raging faith fight over Mandir versus Masjid. Amid shriveling fountain face-off in Varanasi, a Gyanvapi-like war is echoing in Karnataka over what saffron groups believe the remnants of an ancient temple. Recovered from under the Malali Mosque in Karnataka's Mangaluru, the debris of an unmissable Hindu temple-like architectural design surfaced during the renovation of the Juma Masjid. India Today is the only channel to access the interior of the structure.
Currently, investigations already underway, and a DC is expected to produce a report on the same very soon. Pro-Hindu outfits have said that they will perform a puja in the village to go ahead with the project or not. Now, the matter still is in the court, and the court has already said that status quo has to be maintained, and the DC's report regarding this is still awaited.
The discovery of the structure, which closely resembles Hindu relics and ornate work on stone, surcharged Karnataka's political scene. Hindu groups vouch that an ancient temple used to stand where the mosque is now located. The VHP has asked the local administration to stop the mosque's renovation till the debris is verified. The BJP is planning a ritual inside the wreckage to determine if they belong to a temple.
ಮಳಲಿಯ ಏನು ಮಸೀದಿ ನವೀಕರಣ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ದೇವಸ್ಥಾನದ ಕಟ್ಟಡದ ರೀತಿಯ ಒಂದು ಕಟ್ಟಡ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗೋಚರವಾದ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಅದೇನೋ ಜಿಲ್ಲಾಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಮನವಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಹಾಗೆ ಕಾನೂನು ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಹೋರಾಟವನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಅದೇ ಆ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದ ದೇವರ ಸಾನ್ನಿಧ್ಯನ ತಿಳಿಯಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನತಕ್ಕ ನಿಟ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಹಿರಿಯರ ಸಮ್ಮುಖದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಸ್ಥಳೀಯ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರೆಲ್ಲ ಹಿರಿಯರಿದ್ದಾರೆ
ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಅಹಿತಕರ ಘಟನೆ ನಡೀಬಾರದು ಅನ್ನೋ ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿ ಸಿಬ್ಬಂದಿಗಳದ್ದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಕಿಂಗ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿದು ಒಂದು ಡಿಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಂದೋಬಸ್ತ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕರು ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಂದೂ ಮತ್ತು ಮುಸ್ಲಿಮರು ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂದೇ ಊರಲ್ಲಿ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಅನ್ಯೋನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಜೀವನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದ ಎರಡೂ ಗುಂಪುಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಅಶ್ಯೂರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅದೇನಿದೆ ಸತ್ಯಾಸತ್ಯತೆ ಪರಿಶೀಲನೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಏನು ಕ್ರಮ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅದನ್ನು ಜಿಲ್ಲಾಡಳಿತ ತಗೋಬೇಕು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಬದ್ಧರಾಗಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಅಂತಂದು ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕರು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ತಹಸೀಲ್ದಾರ್ ಅವರ ಸೂಚನೆ ಮೇರೆಗೆ ಒಂದು ವಾರಗಳ ಕಾಲ ತಾತ್ಕಾಲಿಕವಾಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆಯುವಂಥ ಕೆಲಸನ.
The Muslim side is contesting the claim.
As an MLA, we have requested the district administration, the DC, district magistrate, to do a proper investigation into this and or hand over the case to the archaeological department. Okay. And give us a clear picture. What is the issue? Like, what is the structure? What kind of whether a temple was there or a Jaina Basidi was there? We want to know. That's the whole issue.
Is another legal battle looming over Mangaluru's Gyanvapi movement? With Karthik in Mangaluru, Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, viewers, let's cut across right now to the state of Karnataka and the political dynamics in the state shifting sands where the Congress is concerned. The reason why DK Shivakumar has now hinted that he could very well be the chief ministerial face for the Congress party in Karnataka. One wonders what happens to Siddaramaiah. With the Karnataka poll slated for next year, the Karnataka Congress chief DK Shivakumar made the big statement. On being asked who could be the Congress Karnataka CM face, he said he's worked very hard for 2 years to take party to new heights. The KPCC chief dismissed reports of a tiff with senior Congress leader and ex-CM Siddaramaiah. DK also accused the BJP of creating a false perception to influence the electorate.
From the day one I took over the charge, I am doing the job as a Congress important functionary. From the day one we are fighting out. It is not now to launch. The day I took Pratigna, I have taken up the responsibility collectively.
So you will form the government in Karnataka?
I am sure the people will give a clear mandate for the Congress party to have a very strong government in Karnataka.
So will you be the chief minister?
See, chief minister issue will be only decided after we have the good solid numbers by my party high command. It is not me or anyone to decide. We may all dream of it. That is not, we should deliver first, then let us discuss on that issue.
There is one statement of yours being quoted in the media that you had said that it took 2 years for you to cook the food and now everybody is coming. What's your take on this statement? Did you give it, and if yes, why, sir?
See, media people are speaking on chief minister post. Why now? Why chief minister position has come now? Whether whomever may become the chief minister. It is when we lost our assembly by-election, when the party MLAs went out of party. No media or any other leader spoke on the chief minister. Now after 2 years, when the entire cadres of the party, not only myself, the entire cadre of the party collectively worked, including the leaders, jointly, and now BJP and media is speaking that Congress is fighting for chief minister. That shows that already the BJP has lost its ground.
There is one statement of yours being quoted in this coming. What's your take on this statement? Did you give it, and if yes, why, sir?
See, media people are speaking on chief minister post. Why now? Why chief minister position has come now?
whether whomever may become the chief minister. It is when we lost our assembly by-election, when the party MLAs went out of party, no media or any other leader spoke on the chief minister. Now after 2 years, when the entire cadres of the party, not only myself, the entire cadre of the party collectively worked, including the leaders, jointly, and now BJP and media is speaking that Congress is fighting for chief minister. That shows that already the BJP has lost its ground.
The important thing to understand is that, it's ultimately the members of the CLP who will decide who the next chief minister is. And of course, the High Command will have a role in this. So everybody, including me, may have the hope or the aspiration of becoming chief minister. But each one of us realizes that it's the CLP members and the High Command which finally decides the chief minister's position. So, I might be able to cook food, I might be able to serve food, I might be able to, take it from place to place. But ultimately, it's the long and short is it's the CLP and the High Command which decides who will be the chief minister. So this talk is really, is wholly, I think, first misinterpreted. Two, it is, completely unnecessary because elections are 1 year away. So let's see how the electorate finally votes and let's see what finally happens.
All right, viewers, well, another disease on the horizon, worrying at that. 100 cases of monkeypox have now been detected across the globe. The worrying fact, till now, monkeypox was restricted to Africa. Most scientists, virologists right now in a tizzy on how it spread across the world.
It belongs to the family of smallpox viruses and cowpox viruses and was discovered in 1958 in monkeys. Monkeypox, the disease that has now alarmed the world, was previously only seen in African countries. It has now spread to 12 countries across the world where the disease is not endemic and poses a bigger threat. It's now been seen in the UK, in Canada, Australia, Israel, and 8 countries in Europe. The World Health Organization has already warned about the spread of monkeypox to other parts of the world. What is puzzling is that in many cases in Spain and Portugal, the patients have no history of travel to African nations.
We really need to better understand the extent of monkeypox in endemic countries like in DRC and in Nigeria, Central African Republic and others to really understand how much is circulating and the risk that it poses for people who are living there.
What do we know about monkeypox? It is uncommon and outbreaks usually happen in West and Central Africa. Symptoms are fever, muscle ache and swollen lymph nodes. Chickenpox-like rashes are also found. Transmission happens due to close contacts with infected animals like monkeys and rodents. Human transmission is possible but limited. The US CDC says household disinfectants can kill the virus. The infection is rarely fatal and it can be transmitted sexually. Experts say that monkeypox has been around since 1958. In that sense, it is not a new disease. Contact tracing and isolation will help us. In fact, isolation of up to 3 weeks is what has been advised. What about the vaccines here? Will the vaccines that have been used effectively to eradicate smallpox work in this case as well? Is there any other vaccine to protect us against monkeypox? Listen to what experts have to say.
This was approved in 2019 for prevention of monkeypox. This is a 2-dose vaccine, but the availability remains limited. The vaccination stopped way back in 1979, at least in India. So most of the young people would not be inoculated to the same. Those who have received, I think the data shows that it is almost 85% protective against monkeypox virus also.
Symptoms usually go away on their own without any treatment. According to the World Health Organization, vaccinia immune globulin or VIG may be recommended for severe cases. In New Delhi, Sneha Murdani for India Today.
All right, Piers, this is worrying. Since the barbaric extremist Taliban has taken over day by day, they're only making it harder where women in Afghanistan are concerned. The latest, watch this report. Women news anchors, news presenters now have to read the news with the burqa.
این فرمان واقعا برای هیچ مجری و یا هم برای هیچ دختر نباید قابل پیش بینی باشه، از خاطر که اسلام نه چنین فرمان برای ما به خاطر حجاب گفته و نه ما تو کدام چیز آگاهی از اسلام داریم. تمام علما و در رابطه با چهره‌های سیاسی هم مخالفت نشان داده در رابطه بعضی فرمانشان. واقعا وقتی که گوینده خبر میخوانه و یا هم اطلاع رسانی میکنه باید از هر لحاظ ذهنن یا آرام باشن و حقایق به مردم برسانن.
Watching a fact check segment where we bust certain claims masquerading to be facts on social media platforms and WhatsApp groups. Now there is a claim suggesting that the Prime Minister himself paid tribute at the Aurangzeb tomb. Incorrect. The fact check on that, this is a picture from 2017. And it's a video, in fact, of the Prime Minister at the Bahadur Shah Zafar tomb, not the Aurangzeb tomb. With that, viewers, it's time for us to wrap up this edition of 7 at 7. You do stay tuned. Up next is To The Point.